What's good? Pop up live. You know it's kind of rude to eat while you're on camera, but I'm hungry. I needed a snack. You know what I mean? Doing this little diet thing. This little diet thing, man, it kind of, I don't know, I be hungry all the time. You know what I mean? William Smith 3712, what's good? What's up with you, Mike? I appreciate you being in the building. What's up, Miss April? How you doing? Freedom 747-K7Q. What's up with it? Appreciate you joining. Dennis Rodman 7083. Side Towns in the building. Appreciate you. I ain't doing nothing, man. I ain't doing nothing. Just getting off work. Have me a little snack, man. Like I said, I know it's rude to be eating on camera, but I'm hungry. Respectfully. I'm okay. Happy Sunday to you just as well. Then I'm gonna come on here and, you know what I mean, talk to the people. TB's in the building, number 6. What's up, TB? I appreciate you, bro. Chilling, getting ready to head to bed soon. I see you went live, so I got to stay up a little bit longer. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it, man. Y'all double tap that screen for me if you don't mind it. It puts me in the algorithm so people know that I'm live. You know? I've been doing my little diet thing. Kind of fell off this weekend, though. But I got to get back. I got to get back on the wagon, man. You know? Staying right around 1,800 calories a day. And that's cool. It's easy to do it. But the thing about it, you have to eliminate alcohol. I don't drink every day, but, you know, when I go out, I like to have a good time. One shot of alcohol has about 150 calories. Who's just taking one shot? So I got to get back on board or whatever. Let's keep these calories down. Like I said, about 1,800 a day. You know what I mean? I'm eating a yogurt right now. Non-fat yogurt. Ate a banana. You know what I mean? A little granola in it. So it's my nightly snack. I won't eat no more for the rest of the night. What's good? PHXRT87. What's good with you, man? You know what I mean? Just giving people a chance to enter the building. I got you, Dennis. I'm going to answer that. I'm going to definitely answer some questions or whatever. Q&A. He asked me when's the last time I seen Big Rufus. I don't even know if Big Rufus is still alive, man. If y'all not familiar, y'all go look at one of my videos. I think it's titled Big Rufus. Just type in, go into search and type in Big Rufus. Big Rufus was a notorious bandit in the Kentucky Department of Corrections. He loved little white dudes, young white dudes. He get you in debt, you know what I mean? Keith Glover, Keith from Chicago. I'm gonna call you after the live. I appreciate you. Adrian Terry, what's good, man? AKA Sweet James. Houston's in the building. You know what I mean? Yeah, y'all double tap that screen for me if you don't mind. Get the likes up. I appreciate that, April. You know what I mean? Who do you think will win a twerking contest, LeBron or Trump? That's funny. I got moderators tonight. You know what I mean? I got moderators tonight. Drewski. I don't know why people say I look like Drewski. I don't think I look like Drewski. Not at all. But yeah, Big Rufus, man, he like them little white boys, man. And his whole goal was to get you in debt. First arrived to prison, especially back then, commissary was only once a week. Everybody has days that they go to commissary. Now you can pretty much go every day, Monday through Friday. And so you get there and you already heard all the rumors and all the, you know what I mean, don't borrow and things of that nature. But when you sitting there and you starving, y'all don't eat until 5:30 in the morning. And it's 8:30 in the evening, 8 o'clock in the evening, 7:30, you starving. You smell all that great food. You got people cooking pizzas, fried potatoes with the onions and the peppers. They got the banquet chicken. Pretty much anything you can buy out of the store, out here on the streets for the most part, you can buy in there. And there's some great cooks in prison. You sitting there, your stomach is touching. You like, man, I might have to go see Big Rufus. Big Rufus was a store man. I mean, if you need to borrow something or whatever, you need 3 noodles, 5 back. 5 noodles, 8 back. That's how he makes his money. He get you in debt. Then you go to paying back. Here you go, Big Rufus, man, my money here. I went to the commissary. Here's everything that I owe you. Plus, I gave you a little extra, you know, zooms and whams, cakes, and honey buns. Big Rufus say, no, it's how he talk. Big dude, man. Probably, Big Rufus, man, probably like 6'2". Been locked up for so long, so the dude is just huge, man. I say he probably weighed about 240. Something like that, 235, 245, somewhere right around in that range. Big Rufus say, no, man, them ain't the type of cakes that I want back. Hold on, Big Rufus, now. I don't go that way. I don't, come on now, Big Rufus. Big Rufus gonna take advantage of you. But that was a long time ago, because when I seen him, he was getting old when I seen him, so Big Rufus is maybe not even alive anymore. Fleece Johnson talks about him. Next time y'all watching Fleece over at Hustler Spirit 502, a shout out to Big Lee. Next time y'all watching Fleece and he's going live or whatever, ask him about Big Rufus. You know what I mean? Yeah, Big Rufus wasn't no joke. But yeah, man, we're doing a Q&A, so y'all feel free to ask me whatever. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see what's going on. I thought Fleece got locked back up. Nah. Fleece is doing Fleece is like traveling, doing interviews, movies. He's not locked up. You know what's so crazy though? I've never actually met him. You know what I mean? Don't get thrown out there. That's right, April. You let them know. You let them know. They get wrong. Give them a couple, you know, give them a little opportunity. I don't want to just throw anybody out that fast unless somebody's just blatantly being disrespectful or whatever. But I never actually met Fleece. I just speak with his manager, Big Lee. About 60 miles, 65 miles up the road. So supposed to be giving, you know, doing an interview or whatever. Free country. Yep. It sure is. What's going on with y'all though? I haven't had an opportunity to see what's going on in Mexico yet. I know that it's something going on, but I think they said the cartel, one of the cartel dudes got unalived or whatever. I haven't. I've been at work all day long or whatever. If it even happened today, so I'm gonna check it out when I get home. You know what I mean? I'll be in Kentucky next year. Hopefully we can kick it. Come on down. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot to do here. Like, I know you in Chi-Town, so, you know, a big city like that or whatever, you know, it's a lot to do. But now if you go to Louisville, shout out to Louisville, 502. There's a lot going on in Louisville. But in Lexington, it's rather slow for real. Hey, get April, get Bobby out of here. This dude's crazy. If you don't mind. Matter of fact, I'll do it. You feel me? But yeah, Lexington, man, it's slow. It's just not. It's like a college town, man. So you know, college student or something like that. There's a lot going. It's a lot going on. You know what I mean? Yo, Kenz, Swagger Surfer, 813 is in the building. Swagger Surfer, what's good with you, man? How you doing? Hope all is well. I said I'm gonna jump on here and just go live for a minute. Tell some good stories, answer some good questions. I'm gonna tell y'all, I heard the craziest thing today. Like, Everett Purvis 9308 is in the building. 863 is in the house. You know what I mean? I'm in the house like kitchen sink. Stop playing with me. I appreciate you. Sean Williams 2346. Shout out to Dayton. Dayton's in the house. Ohio stays in the house, man. Shout out to the whole Ohio. Port Arthur, Texas. That's where UGK is from. Port Arthur. Y'all remember last time I went live? Y'all remember the last time I went live? I talked about Joseph Hunter, the dude that beat the correctional officer up real bad. Didn't really beat her up real bad. He just more so probably scared her a lot. You know what I mean? But we actually had we didn't have a conversation, but we messaged, and I haven't heard back from him because we're supposed to be doing an interview. But he told me, he said, man, ever since this happened, like, I'm not really getting my rec time the way that I'm supposed to be getting it. They got him locked down at Ohio State Penitentiary. I want to say it's in Toledo. I don't know if it's in Toledo. It's in one part of Ohio. I can't remember exactly. It's not Toledo, but it's in a particular part of Ohio, whatever. And he just like, bro, they got me locked down, man. Half the time I don't even get my rec. You know what I'm saying? And then when I do, like, when they let you out, you got to go use the phone. You got to take a shower. You got to do all of these things. And then he's like, when they let me out, sometimes it's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So what can I really do? And I would imagine he's going to have a tough time. I would imagine he's going to have a tough time because ain't nobody really going to look out for him. You know what I'm saying? Dayton, I don't remember. I have to look it up. You know what I'm saying? I definitely have to look it up. Rod Tate Callie's in the building. You know what I mean? Callie's in the building. Joseph Hunter is my hero. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I look at Joseph Hunter as boozed and confused. So it's good. I look at Joseph Hunter like, I never condone putting your hands on a woman, right? You know, you don't. And if you all haven't seen this video, y'all go check it out. Just Google Joseph Hunter, Ohio inmate beats the brakes off a correctional officer. Y'all double tap that screen though, man. I'm trying to get to 1,000 likes. I'm a long way off, but we can get there. But I never condone, you know, putting your hands on a woman, you know. But in this particular situation, like, he's begging the woman as respectful. He was very, very respectful. Like, very, very respectful to her. And she was just like the aggressor. To me, she should lose her job. For real. Now, this thing happened about a year ago, so I don't know if she ever lost her job or whatever. You know what? I might try to get her name and do an interview with her. It'd be a good interview. But the lack of respect, I understand that you're a correctional officer. I get it. But at the same time, I say this all the time. Yeah, the dude, yeah, he got dreads. I say this all the time. You're allowed to go home because inmates allow you to go home. If they don't want you to go home, guess what? You're not going home. So being in there, being all overzealous and disrespectful to people, whatever, it wasn't even called for. He was asking her to please go get me a white shirt. You know, and that's exactly what she is, TB. She's a bully. And a lot of those correctional officers, they're bullies. A lot of people think that in prison, the most dangerous weapon in prison is a knife. But the most dangerous weapon in prison is a pen. Because the correctional officer has the ability to write you up at any given time. And if you in there, now if you got a life sentence or you not going home for 30, 40 years, even 40 or 50 years, you're not probably caring too much. But if you in there and you trying to, you know, get good time and you're trying to, you know, stay on the right path, the right course. Because like in Kentucky, you can take these classes, right? So you take these classes, and every class that you complete, you get 90 days knocked off your sentence. Those 90 days come in handy, especially if you done had, you know, 7, 8 classes that you've taken since you've been locked up or whatever. But what they do is they weaponize these classes. Being that if you catch a write-up, oftentimes you'll get thrown out of class. And these correctional officers, they know this. But yet they'll write you up over something petty. And so when he's asking her to go get the white shirt, anybody that's higher than you as far as ranked, be a sergeant, be a lieutenant, captain, whoever, be the warden if the warden wants to come down there. She's asking him, why do you want to see a white shirt? He could have got smart with her. He was, ma'am, because, okay, obey the law. You're right, you should obey the law, but it don't give you the right to just treat people the way that you feel as though you want to treat them, and you see what happened to her, right? And if you didn't, Google it. Respectfully. She's too busy asking him, why do you want to see a white shirt? Ma'am, because I was asleep. You woke me up out of my sleep. You shook me down. Evidently something had happened earlier that day. And I'm going to tell you how these officers, some of them, I got a story for you. I've told the story before, but I'm going to share it with you how retaliation, they use retaliation. They try to retaliate against you by writing you up or giving you a bogus shakedown and having you sit there for 45 minutes with your hands behind your back, because that's what they do. They cuff you and you have to sit there in a chair and they go through all your stuff. A CUSIO, they just gonna, 2 or 3 minutes they done. They got like a quota they have to meet every day as far as like the shakedowns or whatever. Her and her partner. It's not funny, but damn, it was funny. It was funny to me. I think I've watched it several times. I think the video is hilarious. Now, he remained respectful. Ma'am, I just want a white shirt. They said, I just gave you the reason. Turn around and walk away. That's what she's saying to him. Ma'am, I'm not even nowhere near you. I'm not. He pointed to a line on the ground. That's when she started cussing at him. There's like a line that I guess you're not supposed to cross or whatever. She was, I don't give a F about that line. Turn around and walk away. So a woman talking to a man. This dude's he's in there for murder. I don't know the specifics of his, his case or whatever, but, from what I've been able to gather, they went and robbed somebody or whatever. Somebody ended up getting unalived. You talking to a man that got 32 years. 32 years. You go home every night. You talking to this man 32 years. Doug. What up, Doug? And so, Doug 009. And so, are you going to do the panels one day? Probably so. But, knowing that this dude has all of this time or whatever, you still want to play with him? You want to cuss at him? So then when he didn't walk away, she tells him, put your hands behind your back, cuff up. Cuff up? Ma'am, I didn't do anything. You're asking me to cuff up because I'm asking you to speak to a white shirt? Cuff up! London's in the building. What's good? So she's yelling at him. Ma'am, please don't yell at me. Please don't. This is how he's talking to her. Like, I'm not exaggerating or anything for you all that have not seen the video. She pulls the mace out. I guess he was supposed to be intimidated. And he's still not raising his voice. He's still nowhere near her. He's still being respectful. Please, ma'am, don't spray me with that. Please don't. Please, I don't think he said ma'am, but please don't spray me with that. I told you to cuff up. Cuff up for what? I didn't do anything. Next thing you know, man, she sprays the guy in the face with a mace, with that bird spray. I don't know if y'all ever been sprayed by mace, period. But it's terrible. In prison, they got that strong spray. I'm talking about and it's big like, they walk around, I always talk about, joke about it, but it's true, like fire extinguishers on their hip. And it burns bad. Sprays him in the face with the mace, so he just takes off him and commence to beating her. She's screaming and hollering on the ground, help, help, help. What are you hollering for now? Again, I don't condone putting your hands on a woman. Anthony Wright, 4340, was good. New York's in the building at CH-NK8FF. I don't condone putting your hands on a woman, but I don't understand why you was tough at first. And you screaming, help, stop, you crying, and then the other one came over and she got it just as well. Well, that 32-year sentence that he has, he might not see the streets again after this one. So ultimately, was it worth it? No, it wasn't. It was definitely a signal 7. Boozed and confused. It was definitely a signal 7. She couldn't even say signal 7. Signal 7 in unit. Signal 7 in the unit. Signal 7, for y'all that don't know, just never seen my videos or whatever. That's when an officer, they talking all tough or whatever. Not necessarily talking tough, but when they trying to alert the staff that something's going on, violence. Get here immediately. She didn't even have a chance. She's screaming, she's hollering, and no other inmates tried to intervene. No other inmates. Usually a situation like that, there's an inmate that's going to try to stop you or something like that, because that may help him get out earlier. He's going to come across as a hero. Nobody stopped it. And they're really lucky that they didn't get hurt even worse. And you know what's so crazy? I bet. I have no way of... What up, Anthony? Well, that's what I was talking about. We've been in communication. Think you can get an interview with him, but he's locked in the hole. They keeping him locked up almost all day. He's still fighting the case right now. Like, he's still going back and forth to court. It's happened last March. Now, if you're already if you're already serving 32 years, in Ohio, I don't think they really have a parole system like that. I'm not for sure, but I'm quite sure that, and if they do, it's not like it's going to be a significant amount of time off of your sentence. I would say assault on an officer, on 2 officers, they're probably trying to give him another, I don't know, 10 years. And if he was in Kentucky, they would hit him with the sentence enhancement. I don't know if Ohio has a sentence enhancement, but the fact that it's been going on for a year tells me that he's fighting it. And I don't know if he plans to try to take that to trial, say that she provoked it, or because she didn't have a reason to spray him. So it may be something that in court to where he can, I don't know, like, this is what she did to me. She sprayed me for no reason. He's been locked up for 16 years already. So he got a shot. He got an opportunity to get out, but he can't really afford to really be getting any more time. And I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see exactly what happens. I'm going to try my best to get an interview with him, but like I said, I understand that there's no telling when they're going to let him out of the hole. I'm talking about he's at max. Y'all Google Ohio State Penitentiary. That's what it's called, Ohio State Penitentiary. Maximum lockdown, and that's where he's at. I wonder if they beat him up afterwards. A lot of times once you do something to, one of theirs, they're going to come back for you. I'm not exactly sure, but, you never know. That was a signal 10. Yeah, it definitely was, man. I told the story about Officer Rodriguez. Told this story, I don't know, maybe about a year and a half ago. And Officer Rodriguez, she was one of those COs. She was one of those COs that she really thought that she could just treat you any kind of way. You know what I mean? Being Mac of skill was good. Was good with you. She really thought that she was she was just the type, just like this overzealous CO that got an issue, got beat up. And they hated her so much. She hated herself. And the thing about it, man, Miss Rodriguez, man, she was kind of cute. She looked like she was maybe mixed with some Spanish and maybe white, I don't know, but she was short, probably maybe about 5'2". She was a little, heavy set a little bit, but not bad, like, you know what I mean? And she never talked to nobody. She never smiled. She walked around just looking miserable all the time. And basically what she would do, one day she was coming in the door and she had some boxes in her hand. And I was walking through the door first. I didn't hold the door, so I let the door shut and it hit up the boxes or whatever. And I think one of the boxes dropped. But lo and behold, a couple hours later, guess who she came and shook down? Like I said, in Kentucky, when they shake you down, you sit in your chair and they put your hands behind your back. They got to do so many shakedowns per shift. A cool officer, hey man, can I shake you down? Yeah, man, no problem, man. They just doing it for the cameras, right? She definitely wasn't 5'10" or 5'11", not acting like that. So she's shaking me down, man, and I'm sitting there. It's been like I'm supposed to go to class, like I'm in class and everything. I'm missing class because I'm in the middle of a shakedown. She's going through everything in my locker, checking every receipt, because like anything that you have to be able to produce a receipt for it. You got 10 noodles, you better have a receipt showing that you purchased 10 noodles from the commissary. You got 5 tuna pouches, you got 8 stamps, you got whatever you have to, and anything that you don't, she found like 2 stamps. And I didn't have the receipts for them anymore. and she took my stamps or whatever. Finally, I'm like, man, how long does a shakedown have to last? I'm like, I've been sitting here for like 30 minutes with my hands behind my back. I don't got that much stuff. She's going through the lotion bottles and taking the top off and looking. She was in retaliation because I didn't hold the door open. Oh yeah, she's definitely petty. That's how a lot of them are. She shook me down for like an hour and probably 15 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes. All my stuff. She had mixed my dirty clothes with my, like, she had took all my stuff out of my bags or whatever. So when she gets done, I'm like, you supposed to put my stuff back the way that you found it. She was like, oh, I'm supposed to put your stuff back? I said, yeah. No, she was like, you want me to put your stuff back? I was like, I would appreciate it. She grabs all of my stuff, mixes my dirty clothes with my clean clothes or whatever. It's prison. You can't just go to the laundromat like you can on the street. You got certain days where they do laundry. Grabs my stuff and throws it in the locker. She was like, here you go. You wanted me to put it back. And threw my stuff back in the locker. This is an example of how she was. How a lot of those CEOs are. Again, I always stress not all of them. They got so tired of her, everybody signed like a complaint or whatever. Try to get them out of the unit. It works sometimes, but the problem is she's getting thrown out of every unit, so eventually they're going to bring her back. One day when she came up the stairs, she had did something to a dude or whatever. He took some baby oil. Took some baby oil and put it on the stairs. Because we were at, like, our dorm, we were upstairs. So, like, when you first walk into the dorm, you have a couple cells that are on that floor. Now, these are cells like 10, 12 people. Then you go downstairs in the dungeon. They got cells downstairs. And then you can go upstairs. That's where we were. Dude took some baby oil because she was already up there. She was counting. It was count time. Once she finished counting this, pod or whatever, she go to the next one. They ain't had no cameras like right there. It was an old building. It should have been condemned. Dude goes in the hallway, baby oil all on the stairs. She finishes counting, all the pods or whatever. She goes to walk down the stairs, and all you heard was help, help. She done fell down. It's probably maybe about 13, 14 stairs. She done fell down the stairs onto the little walkway, the landing part or whatever. And she ended up breaking her ankle. She broke her ankle and busted her head and a couple other little injuries. I think she fractured her wrist or something like that. And again, anything that's violent done to a person, I don't condone that. But that's what a lot of these officers, that's how they act. So I had somebody that sent me an email and he was like, I'm an officer or whatever, and you really seem like you don't like authority. The fact of the matter is, I've been an officer for 20-something years. If you treat them well, they're gonna try to run over you, take advantage of you. If you're strict on them, now you're being a jerk. So how are you supposed to treat these inmates? So I was like, man, treat them like people. Some of the things that he was saying was absolutely right. You do got to watch it, because they'll run over you. They will. As soon as they get cool with you or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're trying to get you to bring something in. Okay, but not all of them, but a lot of them do that. I get it. My thing is this: if you're a jerk, you can be a jerk, or you can just be a stickler to the rules. You see what I'm saying? That's cool, bro. I'll holler at you, man. I understand it is kind of late. I appreciate you, stopping by. If you're going to be a jerk, just be a jerk every day. Don't come in there trying to make people's time even harder than what it has to be. You catch me doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing, you write me up, that's on me. You know what I mean? That's on me. But when you just looking for anything, taking noodles from people, little stuff like that, that's jerkish behavior, in my opinion. Writing people up, you don't get a chance when you get a write-up, you don't get a chance to go to the parole board and explain for yourself. It used to be everybody saw the parole board, so you go in there, you talk, you tell them what you learned, you tell them what you've experienced or whatever since you've been in prison. Show remorse. But now what they do is they do a file review. So they're literally looking at a piece of paper. Okay, this is his criminal record. This is, what he's done since he's been locked up. We see that he has a couple write-ups. He's still in prison, getting in trouble. Give him another 12 months, 15 months. We'll revisit it back then. So you don't even get a chance to, whoa, I did get this write-up, but this write-up was bogus, man. Now, you don't want to say that to the parole board, but at the same time, you still are able to allow them to see you. You see what I'm saying? Imagine trying to get a job and you don't even get to go in there and talk for yourself. So that's how the parole system is, here in Kentucky. You don't go in there and talk. Now, if you got like a violent charge, like a murder or something where somebody got hurt, or then you get to go before the parole board, because 9 times out of 10 you'd have been locked up for so long, 15, 20, 30 years or whatever. So they want to hear from you. But if you got like a charge that's not violent or whatever, you're not going before the parole board. It's crazy because you got so many people that are incarcerated for non-violent charges. Like I said, sentence enhancements. Sentence enhancements are the worst because it's a form of double jeopardy, but yet they're allowed to get away with it. If you catch a charge and you facing 1 to 5, you're facing 1 to 5. Well, oftentimes it's more than one count. So say it's 5 counts. Technically, they're going to try to get you to believe that you're facing 25 years. The most time that they can give you, because they have a cap on it. So the most time that they can give you is 20 years anyway. That's still a long time. But if you're facing 1 to 5, 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to be like, all right, take a plea deal for 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. But now you got this sentence enhancement because you've been in trouble before. So now it's 1 to 5. If you've been in trouble just, one previous time, now you're facing 5 to 10 per count. But if you've been in trouble a couple times, and it's called the PFO, persistent felony offender. Now you facing, for a charge that where you was originally facing 1 to 5 and you was going to get the low end, now you facing 10 to 20. Sentence enhancements. You may catch a case and you facing 10 to 20 because of the actual charge of what it is. But then when they hit you with the sentence enhancement, you facing 20 to life. That's what they tried to do to me. They did do that to me. I'm not going to say that that's what they tried to do. They hit me with a state RICO charge, which is a criminal syndicate, organized crime, more than 5 people committing crimes on a continuous basis. Counterfeit, nothing major. I'm not going to say nothing major because it sent me to prison, so it was major enough. But when I said nothing major, meaning like we weren't hurting anybody or anything of the sorts, but it was still wrong. It was still wrong. Nevertheless, I was already on parole. So I had 11 years backup already. 11 years on the shelf. I was on parole. It's 13 people on the indictment. It was 14. One of them, somebody passed away. you know, ended up passing away or whatever. So it left 13. These people was trying to give me all of this time, man. Almost everybody was pointing the finger at me, except for like 3 people. He made me do it. I made you go into the bank and cash these checks, these counterfeit checks, right? Real account numbers, real, you know, routing numbers. Everything was real, or appeared to be real. They had these charts like on TV. I was at the top. Then it was like 3 people underneath me. They were the so-called recruiters. This is how they had it. And then everybody else was just like the, you know, the foot soldiers or whatever. They trying to make me out to be like I'm an animal or something. The scheme was, and I can talk about it now because I've already served my time for it or whatever. You would go into a bank, keep the checks relatively small, 35, 4,500, 3,800, something like that. That's small to a bank. They see major checks. You go in there, you cash the check. The check is already signed. You wear a hat. The check's already signed. You just the body. You going in and just present the check to the teller. After you did that, go to another location. Before we went to the locations, I would always call and I'd be like, yeah, this is you know, I'd call and act like I'm, you know, because a lot of stores, they cash checks, even checks that large. They're gonna charge you 2%, so why wouldn't they charge or cash a check that they know that's good? It's $3,000 or something like that. Yeah, this is Billy. This is Billy over at Wildcat Liquor. Is how I would talk. This is Billy over at Wildcat Liquor. Yeah, I got a gentleman that's in here. A good fella. He comes in here all the time, and he's attempting to cash a check. I just want to make sure that the check is good. They look up, give them the account number and everything. Yep, the funds are there. All righty, well, thanks a lot. So the person wasn't going into the bank blind. Man, they do like 4 or 5 of them checks a day. 3, 4, 5 checks a day. The money's adding up. Now, if they was doing it for $3,800, they was getting what? $900, $950. They got a fourth. They got a fourth of it. Other people that need, you know, had to be paid. But then when they get caught up, and these are the same people that call and beg, hey, please, I need some money. I need to, Christmas is coming and my daughter's birthday or my son's birthday or whatever, please. But then when they got caught up, all they had to do was say, I don't know what y'all talking about. That ain't me. No, we got you on camera. Man, that ain't me, man. Person got on a hat. It's not their handwriting, because remember I said the checks were already signed. And when they had to use their thumbprint, they put super glue over their thumb, so you don't have my fingerprint. All you had to do was say it wasn't me. The people that said it wasn't me never got indicted. But the people that went in there, that's why you don't talk to the police. And I'm not trying to tell y'all how to do crimes or anything. I'm just telling y'all what happened to me. It's just what happened to me. Police get you in the interrogation room. I know it's intimidating. I know, man, they not your friends. You there for a reason. You're not going to talk your way out of the room. He made me do it. He only gave me $50. Detectives, they know. They know that the person is clearly lying. But they don't care. And so they offer me, they offer me 33 years. Me and my co-defendant. Me and one of my co-defendants. 33 years. But whoever broke first or whatever, whoever talked, that offer will go way, way down. Nobody said anything. All they had was a bunch of people saying that I convinced them to do these things. But they didn't have any, they never caught me with anything. It was just, he did it, he did it. And the jury had to believe that I conspired with 5 of these people. So if they believe that, well, he got with 3 of them, but we don't know about the other 2, then they couldn't convict me of the organized crime charge. Very, very difficult to get a conviction on organized crime in the state. They threatened to send me to the feds, all of that stuff. Apparently the feds didn't want it because, you know, they didn't pick the case up or whatever. The case was weak. It wasn't even an organized crime charge. How you gonna say we're a organized business when we may have done something in February, then me and you went and did something in April, then me and you went and did something in June, and they were combining individual crimes and making them all, and say that, okay, well, trying to say that it was a spree, or a crime spree, and that just wasn't the way that it was at all. Me and my partner, we didn't say anything. His name's 5 Star. I interviewed him. He's the only person I've ever interviewed, as far as on here, you know, video. But nevertheless, they got his offer all the way down to 3 years. They offered him 3 years. My offer stayed at 33. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being offered 33 years? Somebody say something in the chat real quick. I want to make sure that I'm still on. I see that I'm on, but just let me know if y'all, you know, still with me or whatever. But can you imagine being, because sometimes the internet acts crazy right here or whatever. Can you imagine being offered 33 years? I'm in the county jail. I'm like, man, what I look like taking a 33-year plea? They're offering 3 years. Anybody say something in the chat for me one time? Sean Williams. All right, cool. Just want to make sure, you know, I was still with y'all. Closer and closer it got to trial. I'm like, man, they just gonna have to give it to me. Pause. And you got to be careful when you have that sentiment, when you have that approach, because like a lawyer told me before, a lot of inmates always talk about, well, they just gonna have to give it to me. Well, guess what? They will. They will. Got closer and closer going to trial. I see a little loophole. This is why you always gotta stay in them law books when you're locked up. Or hopefully you're never locked up, but you gotta stay in them law books. They was never even supposed to charge me with this criminal syndicate. A syndicate says you have to be doing one of the following things. Like A, B, C, D, or E. You know, it can't just be anything. And so I looked at it and I said, man, appreciate that, y'all. I'm telling my attorney, but this dude ain't even coming to see me, so I'm not really able to relay the messages to him like that. He's not answering the phone. He's not coming to see me. And this dude's a paid attorney. Gave him $6,500. I'm like, man, I think that they're going to have to dismiss this syndicate charge. So at first, he was like, nah, because they have ways around it. And I understand what he's saying, because we're in a Commonwealth state. Being in a Commonwealth state, they pretty much make up rules and make up laws as they go along. So what the prosecution tried to argue, they said, when this law was written, it should cover every crime, not just this crime, this crime, this crime, and this crime. But my lawyer's like, yeah, but this is what the law says. Counterfeiting checks doesn't fall under the guideline of being able to, you know, be charged with a criminal syndicate. Facing 20 to life. Syndicate alone carries 10 to 20, but with the sentence enhancement, I'm facing 20 to life. 33-year offer. The judge rules in our favor. The judge actually rules in our favor. But you could tell that he's looking at me like, man, you You done got over on us. But I had other charges just as well. That was the major charge, because now the most that they can give me is 20, which is still a long time. Gets thrown out. 804 is in the building. My dog Antonio Walker. What's good, bro? So now the syndicate charge gets thrown out. I've been in jail like 8-9 months. Good old moms, man, she comes and gets me. 25 G's, my bond was 25,000. They wouldn't reduce my bond or nothing. Even after the syndicate charge gets thrown out, he reduces my bond from 37,000 full cash to 25,000. No bail bondsmen's here. There's no automatic 10%. There's nothing like property, all of that stuff. Like, it has to be assigned or approved by the judge. Lowers my bond to 25,000. My mom brings a cashier's check down there for 25 G's, man. It was, like I said, after about 8 months of being in there. She knew that they were trying to railroad me or whatever. Don't get me wrong. I was guilty. I was guilty, but not of what they said I did. Not of that. I wasn't no organized crime, you know. Probably should have got 3, 4 years, 5 years at tops. So now I get out on bond. I'm telling this lawyer, we get an understanding. I'm tired of you ignoring my calls. You ain't gonna be ignoring my calls while I'm out here. I will come down there, John. We got a understanding. He see that I'm out on $25,000 bond. He tries to say that he gonna charge me 10 G's. I'm like, bro, you said 6,500. Plus you done already been paid in full, 6,500. Did I say that? You definitely said that. Well, I got this syndicate charge dismissed. I showed you. You didn't even want to file the motion. It got to the point to where I told him if he didn't file the motion, I was going to do a handwritten motion. Lawyers hate when you do that. That embarrasses them. The offer's going down, but it's not really going down that much. But I'm like, why would they be trying to offer me 14, 15 years when the most that a jury can give me is 20 years? Period. Why would I take a plea deal for 13 or 14 years? I done seen people go to trial, not even get the max. Get less time than what they were offered. Going back and forth or whatever. Prosecution, they see that I'm going to trial with it. I'm like, shoot, man, I'm probably going to go to trial now. I mean, tell you how dirty they play. She tells my lawyer, they have a meeting or whatever, the prosecutor. She tells my lawyer that the only reason that I got off on the syndicate charges is because it was a loophole. She said that they were going to re-indict me on the syndicate charge. But only this time they would make sure that they re-indicted me the right way. Instead of indicting me under like check fraud or whatever the actual charge was, they were just gonna indict me under theft, saying that I was running a theft ring. We had a hearing and everything. The judge pretty much said, yeah, that can be allowed in the court. I'm like, are you serious? They can. She wants me to take a 13-year plea. She wants me to take a 13-year plea. This is the prosecutor. So now I'm like, man, I'm faced with a choice. Remember, I already had 11. Now, I don't have to do the whole 11 years or whatever, but I'm just saying that I still had 11 years. So I'm like, man, if they re-indict me, and they re-indict me the right way, now this 20 to life is back on the table again. Even though I know I'm not going to get a life sentence, but still, that's a range that they can give me 40. They can give me 30, whatever. Then I'm going to have to do, on top of that, because it was a sentence enhancement, I was going to have to do 120 months flat if I got convicted of the syndicate charge, if they re-indicted me the right way. I was going to have to do 10 years flat before I even had a chance of getting out. I'm like, man, I tell her I ain't taking it. I ain't taking no 13. Triple pause. Matter of fact, let's rewind it. I'm the only person that can do the live. I'm the only person that can do a rewind on live. I'm not taking 13 years. I'm not doing it. That would have gave me a total of 24 years. So they kept threatening me. They kept threatening me or whatever. I ended up taking 8 years when it was all said and done. Ended up taking 8 years. Went on top of the 11 years that I already had. So I had a 19-year sentence. Out of that 8 years, I had already been in the county jail for like 8 months. By the time I actually got back into the system or whatever I did, because on an 8-year sentence, you do 19 months before you're eligible for parole. Like I said, I had already done 8 in the county, and then by the time I got locked back up and sent to the Rotary Farm and all of that stuff, I had almost a year in. So I do the little time or whatever, and I think I ended up doing like 3 years total before I got back out. That's how they play, man. They often overcharge you all the time. Did you see the fight tonight, bro? I didn't. I'm assuming she won. Clarissa Shields. I've been at work all day. But oftentimes they'll overcharge you, and they hit you with these charges. They hit you with these bogus charges like you have a small amount of drugs on you. And again, I'm not saying that that's right. You got 4 or 5 grams on you. $250, $200, maybe a scale or something like that. Or maybe you don't even have a scale. Instead of them just charging you with simple possession, which is 1 to 3. Instead of them charging you with possession, they're going to charge you with trafficking, a controlled substance, with 4 or 5 grams on you. For y'all that are not familiar with this, not a lot of this could be a personal. You got 4 or 5 grams, it might just be your personal that you're using. You're going to charge you with the trafficking. Instead of facing 1 to 3 for possession, now you're facing 5 to 10 for trafficking. Then they're going to say, because you tried to hide it, tampering with physical evidence, because you threw it out or you tried to hide it or whatever, that's 1 to 5. Then they're going to say, oh, you was within 1,000 yards of a school. Another 1 to 5. Everywhere you're at, you're within 1,000 yards of a school. For the most part. So now you're facing 20 years. And we ain't even talking about the sentence enhancement. But you got to go through all that whole process or whatever, going to court, trying to, beat it or whatever, trying to have certain things thrown out or whatever. And you end up taking a plea deal for 7 or 8 years. When all you should have even been facing at the very most was 1 to 3 anyway. That's where having a lawyer, having some money, is very, very important. And if you out there in the streets, absolutely, you got to stay free, man. You got to stay free. If you out there in the streets and you hustling, you got to hustle for a cause. Don't just be out there hustling for tennis shoes and rims and dumb stuff that depreciates or things that make absolutely no sense. Try to put that money up to the side or get you a business or if you just must do it. I'm not telling people to be out there hustling. I've seen so many people, they make all this money in the streets, and you think that they have all of this bread. And they get locked up and they bond at $7,500 and they got to call 5 people. But you would swear up and down that this person had all this money. Jumping out of the car, they got the J's on, $300-400 odd pair of jeans, big rims on their car, they blinged out. In the strip club all the time. Simple possession. Yeah, that's all it is. And that's going to turn into 7-8 years. Like you said, stay free. You don't got to worry about that. You would swear this person had all this money and they locked up in the county jail and can't get $7,500. They got to call 5 people to get $7,500. $7,500 ain't no money. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, because your average person probably don't have 7,500. But if you're in the streets hustling like that, you're supposed to have 7,500. That's in your tennis shoe box. You're supposed to have 7,500. Man, that ain't no money. You walk around there. The last time I got knocked, I had 6,500 on me, which I regret. But it was a reason. I was moving some money around or whatever. You're supposed to have 7,500. You've been in the streets hustling all this time. You got a 5-year run, 3-year run, 4-year, 5-year, whatever run, making all this money, and you don't got no money put up for a lawyer? I know sometimes, they find your spot, but you're not supposed to allow them to find your stash. You shouldn't have all your money in one spot anyway. $7,500. And I could swear up and down this dude would have had $7,500. I probably would have thought he had 75,000. I tell my daughter all the time, the things that we see on social media, it's not real. It's facade. It's everybody puts their best foot forward on social media. Smiling, throwing the money around, got their best clothes on, their best cars. You would swear up and down that this person just has no problems at all. Not a problem in this world. But the problem is with this, it's not real. Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's going through something. And what you see oftentimes is just an illusion. That's why I say it's not even worth it. If you're going to hustle to end up catching a case, and you don't even got $7,500 for a lawyer or for a bond, man, you might as well get you a job, get you a couple jobs, man. You stack up $7,500 working. Stunting for the gram, absolutely. That's what they're doing. Stunting for the gram. See, these days and time, and I tell people this, these days and time, it's a lot easier. You know what I mean? Baltimore's in the building. What's good with your fam? Living my best life. My C. Baldwin, 93.99. If you got you a job, you paying your bills or whatever, man, you can get you a little job on the side, DoorDashing or Uber Eats or, something of that nature, and pretty much just stack that money up. You want to save a couple $100 a week, $250, $300 a week, put that money to the side, then you got your other money. It's not that hard. It's not that hard at all. There's a lot of people, including myself, but at the time we didn't have all of that. Like it wasn't, couldn't just make money every day the way that you can go out here and make money. My electric or something like that needs to be paid, or whatever. I can jump out here and drive for 5, 6, 7 hours, however long I have to drive. Now at the end of the day, I got the money to go pay it. It wasn't like that back then. And even now, I can't do it. I've applied. I used to DoorDash, but I wasn't doing it under my name. But I couldn't continue to do it because I was making so much, and then the tax implications, and it was just too confusing or whatever. Too much of a hassle. Then every time she got mad at me, she'd take her DoorDash account back. You know how it is. And so, whenever I try to apply for DoorDash, I never get approved. DoorDash, Ubering, all of those things, and you don't see any money. You're not around any money. Like, you're not. But I can't pass the background check to bring people their food. So as a result, I don't use DoorDash. Why would I support a company that wouldn't even hire me? Not even hired you, a 1099. You're an independent contractor. My crimes had absolutely nothing to do with driving people and dropping their food off. Driving people, because Ubering, I would be driving people. So I can't get approved for it. And that's the thing about having a criminal record. And I'm not on here complaining about it, crying about it. I'm just, we just chopping it up, just telling y'all how it is. You got a criminal record, man, it follows you for life. Unless you get a pardon. Even getting your record expunged takes a long time. Getting a pardon, but you better know somebody. Governor has to pardon you, if you're in a state. There's a lot of things you can't do when you're on probation or parole. Can't get a passport. You're behind on child support in Kentucky. You can't get a passport. If you're on probation or parole, you can't even get life insurance. I had a partner that tried to argue me up and down because I guess he had some form of insurance through his job. That may be different. But when you go out, and if you're on probation or parole, or even if you just got off, you haven't been off for a certain amount of time, no insurance company is going to insure you. Life insurance. You can forget legally carrying a gun. That's out the window. Certain licenses you're not able to get. Like the first time when I first got caught up, I was in real estate school. And when I came out of jail, they had changed the law to where if you have a felony, you couldn't be licensed to be a real estate agent. You see, back in the day when it was like it's a convicted felon. Like that was it sounds so harsh. Well, Kenz, if you just don't break the law, you're right. You're right. But if you break the law, why do you have to deal with this for the rest of your life? Like if I break the law and I get a felony or whatever, even your credit starts over after 7 years. What is it? Defaming in the Bible? Defaming? I think that's what it is. Like 7 years of bad luck, 7 years of disaster, 7 years. Even that starts over. But you catch a felony and 30 years later, 20 years later, guess what? It's still going to be on your record. You're still not going to be able to get a gun. Or firearm, however you want to phrase it. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Locking people up is a business, so they got to keep people. They have to, I used to hear people talk about that all the time as far as like the system, man, and the system, man. I believe it to a certain extent, and I believe that we are accountable for our own actions. I ain't never had the police just knock on my door. Come on, you coming with us? I done always done something. Always. But at the same time, it's just like they have to keep these beds filled in the penitentiary. Talk about that all the time. Locking people up is a business. They have to do it. Cannot stand when a judge says, I don't want to see you in my courtroom ever again. Yes, you do. Because how you going to have a job? How you going to keep paying for this, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 crib you got? How you going to continue to do the things, afford, the lifestyle that you have if no one comes into your courtroom ever again? You go to prison, man, and you just see like all the money being made off the backs of inmates. It was one warden, and I think he might have gotten in trouble. I don't know if he got fired or whatever, but so you have these contracts, right? Say I run a prison, or I run a jail, but my buddy has a business over here and he needs some work done. I can bring the prisoners, like, look, man, I'll tell you what. Now, you're not supposed to do this. I'll tell you what, man. I can send you 10 prisoners out every single day. Every day I'm going to send you 10 prisoners. Instead of paying them $20, $25 an hour that you would be required to pay them, or anybody that's not a prisoner, we're going to call this a special projects job. Special projects. You get them $7 a day. And you out there for 8, 9, 10 hours, give them $7 a day. It's $35 a week in prison. If you just work 5 days. Sometimes you're going to work 6 days. $35 a day. But you give me a kickback for sending you these prisoners. Well, what person in their right mind wouldn't jump on that? $35. 35, what I say, 10 people? And you paying them $7 a day? $70 a day is what I'm paying these inmates. Total, $70 a day. But if I use the real, somebody that wasn't in prison, and let's just say I was paying $20 an hour, and I got 10 people, what is that, $160 per person? $160 per person, and there's 10 people, I'd be paying $1,600 a day. See the difference? So the jailer or the warden, he gets a cut. I don't know what you kick me 10 grand or 5 grand or whatever. Then when they send you out here to do these jobs, they send sack lunches with you. They don't even feed you. When I say they don't feed you, like the least, I've seen certain places, at least every day, you can go to a diner or go somewhere and get you something to eat or whatever. Nah, you know what they're going to send? You're going to get a brown bag. It's going to have 4 pieces of bread in it. It's going to have some nasty, generic peanut butter on the inside, like in a little package. Might send you apple. Then they're going to put like a little styrofoam cup of like pasta or something like that. That's what they send you out there with every day, in like a little drink pack or whatever, to where you find the water and you put your drink in or whatever. That's what they send you out there with every single day. Every blue moon you might get some chips. But then we found out the people was eating the chips. The staff was eating the chips. And you're going to go out there and work for $7 a day. And that's good money in prison. Because if you work a regular job, like on the yard or something like that, that's why they call it a special projects. If you work a regular job, you're going to make $1.23 a day. And they take half of that. You're going to make about 63 cents a day. So much money that's just being made off the backs of inmates. And again, this jailer, warden, or whatever wasn't supposed to be doing that. And I think he ended up getting caught up. Don't know if he got fired or whatever. Probably didn't get fired. Whole lot of hands in the cookie jar. I know I done said it, but I really, really want y'all to hone in and imagine that. You running a project. Construction project or whatever. Penitentiary, jail, you got people that can do all type of, you got people that know how to run boilers. They know how to operate backhoes. They know how to do anything. They can paint, build a house from ground up. They know how to do plumbing. So you sending all of these individuals out there for $7 a day. Just imagine all the money that this company is making by only having to pay out $70 per day because you have inmates. The commissary is crazy high. You want some degree deodorant? Oh man, I'm talking about the little small ones. $4, almost $5. And that was then. I ain't been in prison in years. Almost $5 for the small ones. Not the one like when you go to Kroger and they got the regular, like the kind of bigger ones or whatever. You can get 2 for $8 or something like that. For the small degree deodorant, you're gonna pay like, it was like $4.80 or something like that. Ramen noodles, the kind you go to the store and get 3 or 6 for $1 or whatever. I've seen places where they were $1 per pack. Everywhere else, they're about 50 cents a pack. They taxing you on everything. You get on the phone to make a 15-minute phone call. If you're local, it's just gonna be $2. But if your people are not local, $8, $9, $10 for a call. And the call may drop. You may not even be able to complete the entire call. 13-inch TVs, if you want to get you one or whatever, $250. Like, it's crazy. But these are the things that make your time better when, you know, when you're in there. So it's like, all right, I know I don't have to buy this, and that's how they get away with it. Ain't nobody making you buy this. But y'all feeding so bad in the chow hall. Every once in a while, you got a good day. Pizza, spaghetti, that's a pretty good day. Like the little lunch pizzas or whatever. Chicken patty day. Special meals. Special meal is like, say for Christmas, right? You may go in there, they got real burgers. They got Polish sausages. They might have fries. Big old piece of cake, ice cream. Something else, salad probably. That's a special meal. But you don't get those too often. Like I said, Thanksgiving, Christmas, maybe 4th of July. They used to cook out on the 4th of July. They stopped doing that. Everything's about the budget. They can't, they had to stop doing it because of the budget. I don't understand that. How much money is y'all making? The budget shouldn't have anything to do with anything, but these are the things that you deal with in prison. That's why you don't want to go to prison. 4th of July, man, because there's neighborhoods around a lot of prisons. You smelling that good barbecue, and you just walking around the yard like, man, just wishing you was out, thinking what you would be doing and how you would be with your family and just enjoying the day, but you on a prison yard. It's definitely not worth it. I tell anybody that'll listen, it's so easy to get into prison. They'll send you to prison just like this or just like that. And it's violent, man. There's an individual, what is his name? I just seen it today. And it was an individual at Eastern. Yeah, he was at Eastern. He's in the cell with an individual. He's already serving life. He got a life sentence. Life without parole. I think he was 47 years old. Eastern is AKA the Pink Palace. I've never been to Eastern. It was a gladiator school. They're going to put you in a cell with an individual that you don't even know a lot of times. Unless you know somebody and you can sign up and y'all get in a room together. But typically it don't work out like that. The young dude, I think he was 27. And they just found him unalived in his cell. If y'all want to Google that, Eastern Correctional Complex. It's in Kentucky. Inmate found unalive. It's happened so much, but this is like recently. Like this was just, it just happened. They'll throw you in a cell with a person you don't even know. That dude didn't even have that much time. 8, 9 years. And you put me in a cell with a person that has life without the possibility of parole. Y'all jump in the comment and say something so I know y'all still with me. Just say still with you. Sometimes this internet goes out and I'm on here talking and you know. Put you in a cell with a person that has a life sentence. Appreciate that, Slim Boat. That is a scary feeling. I got into it with a dude one time. And this dude, man, it's crazy because we from the same place. We from the same place, man, and you in this little bitty area. You gotta use the bathroom in front of each other. Even though, you make your little curtain or whatever for privacy, but you got to smell a person using the bathroom. They've been in the cell longer than you, so they feel like they can lightweight tell you what to do, like the rules of the cell. When the yard goes on lockdown or whatever, you might be in there for a whole week, 2 weeks, a couple days, just depends on what happens. If somebody gets unalived or stabbed or something on the yard's gonna go on lockdown. Can't use the phone. Can't go to commissary. You in the cell with this dude all day long. And it's gonna be violence in certain situations. Well, this dude, man, I'm on the top bunk and he just always has something to say, man. He might be laying on his bed or something like that. Here I am, I'm trying to make my bed up, because you have to make your bed up in prison. Like, they'll come by and give you a write-up if your bed ain't made up or whatever. So I'm trying to make my bed up, but the blanket may be hanging over the bed a little bit. Come on, man, move that blanket. I'm like, my bad, big dog. That's what they called him. That's what we called him, big dog. Big dog's about 6. Big dog, a good 6, maybe 6'1", 6 foot, 6'1". Dark-skinned dude. Had to be about 260, 270. Strong as an ox, man. I'm talking about this dude, man. I would go into WayPal, and this dude, he would do 5 sets of 8. 5 sets of 8. Sometimes 10. 8 to 10 reps of 315. Dude was a beast, man. I'm in the cell with this dude. He mad. So one day, man, he just kept on, man. Like, he just kept on just saying little stuff to the point to where I feel threatened, man. You know what I mean? Trinidad was good. Appreciate you, Stephanie Haynes. 1065. I feel as though my safety was in jeopardy. I'm like, man, I can't fight this big son of a bitch. Even outside of the cell, I'm gonna have trouble. I mean, this dude's a gorilla, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm a nice size and, everything at the time, but I'm like, man, I'm still a man, and you're not gonna be telling me what to do. Like I said, we was cool, though. That's the thing. We was cool, man. But that's why you don't play with people in prison, because y'all might be joking one day, but the next day, they wake up in a foul mood. Maybe they had a bad phone call. Maybe, they called and Jody answered the phone. Because if you think for 1 minute that you doing all this time, 3, 4, 5 years in prison, and your woman's just sitting out there, and does it happen? Yeah, it happens. There probably are some, in rare instances, there's some women that's gonna keep it all the way 100. But for the most part, she gonna do the same thing that we would do. It's facts. So you may have called and Jody didn't answer the phone, or she hadn't answered the phone, and and you trying to figure out what's going on, or she didn't send your money, or she didn't show up for visit, or any of these things can just be triggering. And this particular day, man, he said something about me climbing on the top bunk, because when you climb on the top bunk, you don't have a ladder. So you typically put your foot on the bed, on their bed, but not literally on a mat, but like on the little metal part or whatever. And you get in, you use that to boost yourself up, and you get into the top bunk. He said something about me putting my foot on his bed. I'm like, bro, I ain't even touch your bed. Like I touched the, how else I'm supposed to get in my bed, man? That ain't my problem. Don't be putting your foot on my mat, and I ain't gonna say it no more. Alright, man. I said, you right. You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing with you? Bro, you right, man. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no static, man. You right, bro. I'll watch my step next time. I ain't mean to, I had to cop deuces right there. I ain't mean to step on your bed like that. Like I said, this dude 6'6" to 265, lifting 400 in the weight pile, even though he wasn't repping 400, but he definitely could max 400. So I'm thinking to myself, man, I could throw some water, some hot water in this hot pot, throw it in his face, put some baby oil in it, some Magic Shave. But if I do that, it's definitely gonna be a charge, man. Like, it's gonna be the goal is to make it out, not extend your stay by catching a new time. Really don't want to do it. I'm not even a violent type of individual at all. I'm not violent at all. I ain't gonna kill nothing. I ain't gonna let nothing die. I'm not. But when it comes to my safety, like, you gotta, that's a totally different scenario. Prison is dog eat dog. Jail is dog eat dog. Plus, he's the homie, man. He probably just a little frustrated, but I'm frustrated just as well. I don't want to do it to the homie. But what I will do, I took a lock, and I put it in a sock. I had 2 locks. And I put it in a sock, and I kept it like right there by right there on my bed, the side of my bed. And you got to watch that, because that's considered a weapon in prison. That's contraband. You can't just be having a lock in a sock. Why else would you have a lock in a sock? And one day he just started it back up. It was like the next day. He just started it back up, just running it and running it and running it. And I took that lock in the sock. And he was walking out of the door at the time. Because even though it was a cell, it's not like TV where it's prison bars. It's literally like you're in a room. It's a door. And I took that lock, and I swung, and it just so happens to where I guess he could see like the shadow or whatever. And when I swung, he kind of turned around, and I caught him like on his shoulder. And I'm just swinging. I'm swinging it, but he's already like halfway out the door. So I really didn't catch him the way that I wanted to, catch him. But now the problem is I'm still in a cell with this dude, because we didn't get caught up. So what am I supposed to do? Kind of attack this dude with a lock and a sock. He came back in the cell. This was late on or whatever. He was like, hey, little bruh. He's like, I got to give it to you, man. You tried me today. Damn. Now I'm locked in the cell. Ain't no going out of the door. Ain't none of that. I'm like, damn, man. But I still got that lock and sock over there. I took like a little, they call them cutters in prison, like you use the top of a canned good. Use like say you got a can of chili or something. You use it to cut up like your potatoes and your meats and all that stuff. Had all type of little weapons over there. And don't you know that after that we never had an issue again? He never said anything else to me again after that. 10 Acres 07. What's good with you? Sometimes those sort of things are necessary, because if I hadn't have done that, guess what? He probably would have kept saying little stuff to me. Eventually we got to the points to where he probably would have, because he done choked a couple people out. He done already told me he couldn't never keep a cellie. Every time that he was in a cell with somebody, they would always end up, leaving out of the cell because they couldn't stand to be in the room with him. I ain't like being in the room either, but excuse me, you can't just say, you know what, I'm gonna move to a different cell. You got to be able to find somebody that'll swap you out. And that can be difficult to do at times. I think about the danger that I put myself in, because if you're gonna go and hit somebody with a lock and a sock, you better make it count. Boozed and Confused said he might be 6'1", but you 5'11". You damn right I'm 5'11". That's why I did it. In my heart, I'm 5'11". Heart of a lion. Don't you ever forget. That's how I was feeling towards him at the time. He told a couple people, man, Kenz is crazy, man. But he knew, he was like, man, I do be tripping, bro. I do be tripping, but I ended up being in a room with him for, I don't know, a few more months. Then he got moved to like the honor dorm or whatever, so. But it's dangerous, man. I don't think that if you go to prison, I don't think that they should allow 2 people to be in a room. Absolutely, Antonio Walker. Easy to go, hard to get out. They should never allow 2 people, but see, they need that bed space. They put 3 people in a room if they could get away with it. They would put 3 people in a room, them little bitty rooms. Because see, if they have prisons and they only have 1 room, they want to hold, let's just say you can hold 500 inmates. They had individual cells. They much rather hold 1,000, so they put 2 beds in a room. 2 strangers. Scary, man. I just, when I even think about stuff like that, like I literally just want to like throw up when I just think about that whole environment, that whole atmosphere. Anything can pop off at any given time. You walking on the yard, you might just look over and dudes is fighting, dudes is getting jumped. Somebody might get split with a weight. They took all the weights off the yard for the most part. Most of the yards. I've seen somebody get split with a dumbbell. I've seen that a couple times. A plate, 10-pound plate. You are in a situation where, how you know we ain't here, bro? You know we ain't here, bro. What you saying, man? You know we ain't here, bro. Okay. But to just be, walk in the shower and dudes is doing their thing, man, right there in the shower. Mind your business, man. See no evil, hear no evil. You literally go in the shower sometimes, and the goal is you want to be able to get in the shower and get out as quickly as possible. And you want to get in there ideally when no one's in there, but it's almost impossible to do. Might be in the shower, man. You washing up, trying to hurry up or whatever. And the dude comes in beside you or whatever, and he got a like some plastic, like a Ziploc bag, but like one of the bigger ones. And on the inside of the Ziploc bag, he has his pictures. You know what I'm saying? Is his X-rated pictures or whatever. You gotta watch what I say on YouTube. He got his XXX pictures. The steam from the walls is you know, you can just put the pictures up and they'll stick to the wall. And to just start going to town right there as though you not there. As though there's nobody else in the shower. Start going to town while you, I repeat, are right there and while other people are in the shower. And if you say something to this person, depending on who it is, you might lose your life. You might get unalive. So you really trying to hurry up and get out of there. Even though you was already trying to hurry up and get out. But stuff like that, I say that to say this, stuff like that in prison is normal. That's normal behavior in there. Them freak books, you used to be able to get freak books, that's what they call them. That's another thing that'll get your wig split in prison. People rent them out. They get all the books and they take the best pictures and they kind of create like their own book. And they rent them out. Diabolical, to say the least. 10 acres, 07. So they rent out these freak books, and they may say, all right, man, if you want it for, you know, a couple of hours, man, give me $5 or give me, you know, in commissary, whatever I never rented a freak book out. That wasn't my thing. I don't knock anybody that does that because it's better than, I guess, you know, doing something to somebody else. And so it was one particular situation that I recall to where the dude, he would, you know, rent out the freak books or whatever, and when he got his freak book back, it was a page missing. It was a page missing from his freak book. He's like, bro, it's a page missing, man. Dude was like, man, I ain't took no page out of your, you know what I'm saying, out of your book or whatever. I rent them from you all the time. I didn't take a page. They went through it for a little bit, arguing back and forth. That turned very, very violent. The dude that rented the book out or whatever ended up beating dude up real bad. Slammed him on his head. You give somebody the freak book back and the pages are sticky or they're cute. Dang, bro. Pages are sticky, man. Everything is game in prison. You let somebody use something of yours. You let them use your CD player, or they got MP3 players. Now ain't no telling what they got now. Hey, bro, you broke my rewind button on my CD player. Bro, it was already like that. Nah, it wasn't, man. Now it's gonna be a problem. I was in the bathroom one night. And actually, I wasn't in the bathroom. I was on my way to the bathroom. So I could see, like, inside of the bathroom. And there was a dude, and I didn't even know that they were arguing because I wouldn't even have gone inside, or attempted to go inside rather. And they had a disagreement. I don't even know what they had a disagreement about, but they had a disagreement, but it was kept kind of quiet. And when I tell you, this dude, the dude that got hit, he was probably, I don't know, 5'9", 5'10", black dude. He probably weighed, I don't know, 200 pounds, 205. The other dude, he was probably like 6'1", 6'2", skinny dude, but he was like one of them skinny dudes that was kind of cut a little bit. So he wasn't real skinny, but you could tell he did a whole lot of push-ups and pull-ups. He was also a black dude, dark-skinned dude. He hit this dude so hard, right? The skinny dude, he hit the 5'9", 5'10" dude. Hit him so hard, he falls straight back. I'm talking about, I see it. He falls straight back. Well, you know how the bathroom floors are, like the tile. When he hits the ground, his head hits the back of the floor. All you see was just blood oozing out. And he's laying in a puddle of his own blood, and it's coming out. They had to bang on the door. Hey, get medical. Hey, get medical. They end up getting medical. When medical comes in, it's like 3 nurses. No sense of urgency. Dude is out on the ground like he's shaking, like, you know, he's shaking like Elvis. He's on the ground, blood coming out of his head. And they come in joking and laughing like whatever conversation that they were already having prior to, you know, them being called or whatever. They're still having this conversation. And this dude, now I understand this prison, they done probably seen this time and time again, you know. But this dude is just on the ground, man, and I seen this, and I'm like, oh. He's really lucky dude didn't get on top of him and stomp him out or start kicking him, and because a lot of times that's what happens in prison. People are putting on what do you call it, a demo. They're gonna put on a demo. So the next person that tries me or even thinks remotely about trying me, I want y'all to remember this. I want y'all to remember this. That's why you see like people get beat to death. When you hear things on the news or on TV or whatever, inmates unalived in a prison fight, man, hands, like people will beat you to death, man. And you never want to put yourself in a predicament. That's why you want to try to avoid controversy. You want to try to avoid fighting at all times, because when a person beats you up, your life is in their hands. Ain't nobody gonna jump in unless you're your partners or, you know, somebody that 9 times out of 10 ain't nobody gonna break it up. And the same times dudes are already out of it, knocked all the way out, not a threat whatsoever at this point, and they still just getting stomped. You thought I was a game? Huh? You thought it was a joke, and just beating them. They're already unconscious, blood every day already, and they still beating them, kicking them, spitting on them. They might whip it out and piss on you. No exaggeration. People are crazy, man. Even out here on the streets. Like, there's people out here on the streets that I just tell stories because my whole goal is to stop people from putting themselves in a situation to where they can end up in prison. So I don't make it like all the tough people are in prison. There's people out here that'll do major damage to you just as well. You don't got to go to prison to be tough. But while you in there, man, you better keep your head on a swivel. Stay on your P's and Q's. And just watch yourself at all times. You got to watch yourself at all. You never can get too comfortable being in prison. Because right when you think that you have a grasp on things, like, all right, I'm cool, something could just pop off just like that. Now you're in a situation where, man, defend myself. Y'all remember the story I told about little Billy? We was at a jail. Billy and what was dude's name? I done told so many stories, man. I think Goldie. Goldie was his name. Billy had the bag on the yard. He got the weed. Got the cigarettes. I guess one of the COs, somebody was bringing it in for Billy. You got the cigarettes on the yard. And you got the weed. That's a good thing, but the thing about it is, it's dangerous. People want what you have. It was outside one day. We was out on the yard one day. We was out on the yard one day, and the CO was coming. And Billy just happened to have it on the yard. You know how you standing there or whatever, you see the officer walking your direction. You're like, oh, man. He's standing beside Goldie. Man, what am I do? I got this bag on me. I don't know why he had the whole bag on him, but he had the whole bag on him. Goldie's like, here, give it to me. He passes it off to Goldie. Sure enough, the officer comes over, pats him down. Just a random pat down. That's what they just, hey, you, come here. CID. Got anything on you? Stand like this, pat you down. All right, go on about your way. Like I said, he does that to Billy. Goldie, walked off. Get back in the dorm, probably, 30 minutes. Count time or something like that. Back in the dorm. Billy goes up to Goldie. He's like, hey, man, I appreciate that, man. Can I get my bag back? Goldie, what bag? What they say on Friday, the beach cruiser, the one I let you use a couple weeks ago. Oh, that bike. It was one of them sort of situations. Goldie was like, man, this bag is mine, homeboy. Billy's like, come on, dude, you gonna just do me like that, man? He was like, if it wasn't for me, man, the police, and I kind of seen what Goldie was saying, to be honest. But I don't believe in bullying. If it wasn't for me, man, the police would have found that bag on you. I saved you. So you think I'm going to just hand you the bag back? Billy's like, man, I understand. I appreciate that. And, you can get something out of the bag, but I owe, I got to, people's already paid. Look, man, I ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Man. I don't got nothing to do with none of that. Then you got Goldie. This dude's look like a NFL running back. I hate to say it, but Goldie was 5'11". Bald head dude, black dude, had golds all in his mouth, top and bottom. He's tatted up. Like I said, he's dark. He probably weighing in at 230, 225. He's a big dude. But Billy ain't nothing but probably 5'8", 5'9". And I'm not, size don't mean everything. But I love to paint a picture for y'all. Billy, white dude. Like I said, 5'8", 5'9", 165, 170 pounds. He ain't no big guy. And he's a quiet dude. He ain't starting no trouble. But see, when you dealing with that lifestyle to where you have the bag, now you in dangerous territory, because People want what you have. So if they feel like you charging too much, it's going to be a problem. If they don't have no money, period, you don't give them none, it's going to be a problem. I guess Goldie had heard some things that Billy had been saying, but Billy wasn't saying anything like, you know, threatening or anything like that. It was more so like, man, I can't believe, man, dude took my bag, man. Goldie at this point should have just let it go, man, for real. You already got the man's, you know, his bag. He can get some more. He goes over and he stands over top of Billy. He was like, what you say? He's like, if I hear you say another thing, if I hear you say another word. Matter of fact, he slaps him, man. Slapped the fire out of him. Bow. Slaps him again. Bow. He's standing over top of him. Man, I feel so bad, man. I feel so sorry for Billy, man. That was one of them times, man, to where just wanted to intervene and be like, come on, man, stall him out. Stall him out, Debo. It was just sad, man. I don't like to see people get taken advantage of, but I don't have nothing to do with it. I'm not no savior. I'm not no, you know, I'm gonna handle my own if I get into it with you. I don't think I'm gonna let somebody just stand over top of me and slap fire out of me. And if they do, you know, for every what they say, for every action is a reaction. Nothing happens or whatever. Everybody's, you know, aware of what happened. A couple days goes past. Billy ain't really said much. We're in an open dorm. We're not in individual cells. We're in an open dorm. Can't be a captain say, well, yeah, he right. Absolutely, it can't. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, James. James McIlvain's in the building, my dog. Shout out to James. Like I said, a few days passes. Billy's at the infamous microwave. He got some water boiling. It's not uncommon to see people boiling water, hot water in the microwave. Probably gonna fix a soup or, you know, a noodle or, you know, coffee or whatever. No big deal. Nothing had been said about the situation. Goldie's laying in his bed, his bunk. That's what they call it in Kentucky, his rack. He's laying in his rack. Got his headphones on. Got his eyes closed. He's up, but you know, he's vibing to his music. Billy calmly walks over, takes that big bowl of hot, boiling, scorching water that he had, and he throws it right on Goldie's face. The only thing that remotely saved Goldie was, I don't know if he just felt, you know, sometimes you can feel the presence of somebody approaching you or whatever. He kind of seen it coming, so he did like that, but it still burned his arm. Got on the side of his face, he's screaming, he's hollering. He's screaming, he's hollering. I'm talking about he's screaming. Takes the infamous lock in the sock. He about to go all the way up. You already know. Marcus Murdoch, 9473 is in the building. He takes that lock in the sock. He's wearing Goldie out with it. COC, what's going on? Signal 7 in Unit 73. Signal 7 in Unit 73. Police come in. See, we was in a glass cell. Everything was glass. But they got the tint on the glass so the COs can see in. We can see out, but not nearly as well as they can see in. And they seen little Billy, man, beating the brakes off of Goldie. They come in. I think he ends up going to the hole for a night or two. They let him out. Goldie goes to the hospital or whatever. He has some major burns on him or whatever. I ended up seeing Goldie again because they brought him back. Like, he didn't come back to the same cell, but he came back to the same, unit or whatever, same facility. And I ended up getting transferred. So I don't know whatever happened with that situation, but I know that you can't just let people put their hands on you. You can't be in there just bullying people because you never know. Nobody ever knew that Billy was gonna do this. He never said it. If he said anything, he wasn't loud about it. But they say the loudest one in the room is the weakest one. I don't know if it's necessarily true all the time because I done seen some loud dudes and they were far from weak. But the point that I'm making is he never ever announced what he was gonna do. When he threw that hot water on him and used that lock and a sock. Now, I talk about a lock and a sock a lot, but you got to be careful with a lock and a sock because I seen a dude that had a lock and a sock and he swung at the dude and the dude kind of blocked it and the sock wrapped around his forearm. So instead of him letting go, he wasn't trying to let go of the lock and the sock, so the dude pulled him, towards him and beat the brakes off that dude. My dog Sean, I ain't gonna say it to where we was like kicking it like that, you know what I'm saying? But he was a cool dude. He from Louisville, man. Got the whole Carter Holmes, man, on his back. Sean was a cool cat that had a lot of money. Sean had so much bread and he had a good heart, man. He would go to commissary, buy all his food. 5-6 boxes of chicken, green beans, Bush's baked beans, shells and cheese, the macaroni and cheese or whatever, cheesecake, whatever. Everybody would cook. He'd get a certain amount of people to cook, and he would just sit it out. He's a good dude. People that he didn't even really know, he let them eat. So when I seen him fighting this dude, I'm like, it was weird. I was at Lee County Prison. And he's such a cool dude, man, and he just, dude swung, tried to hit him with a lock and a sock, man. And so you got to be careful when you attempt to do those things because it could definitely backfire on you. And you get the brakes beat off of you. Sean didn't even do him bad, though. He could have. He ain't even doing bad. He let him up pretty much. Then took the lock and the sock and threw it back to him. He's like, here, you want to try it again? Imagine that. Sock and somebody ends up with the lock and the sock and they toss it at you. Try it again. I don't know what that dude's problem was running up on Sean. Like, I think he was just probably jealous or whatever. See, you can only spend $125 a week in prison. But what a lot of dudes, what they do is, they'll be like, all right, well, look, say this guy over here lives next to you or whatever. I mean, he don't get no money sent in. So you have your people put the $125 on his books. You tell him, look, man, you make you out a list for $20, $25 or something. And then you might find another person, you do the same thing. So you're able to spend essentially about $300 at the commissary. So you can get so much more food, and they not even going, dudes that live like that, they not even going to the chow hall. They don't have to go to the chow hall. Everything that they want. Now, I haven't seen dudes going to chow hall, like they might give away a plate, something like, or give away a tray. Look, bro, just let me get the tartar sauce. Just let me get the tartar sauce or whatever. Give the whole fish tray away, or whatever tray that it is. But you got some dudes, it's like they wouldn't be caught dead in the chow hall. Even if it's a good meal, like I said, they might go in and give the meal away. These dudes is balling, man. See, a lot of times, man, like, if you home on house arrest, you know that you probably gonna end up going to prison. You might be on house arrest or you might be on bond, or whatever the case may be. You might be out for 18 months, 15 months. You balling though, you hustling the whole time. And you stacking that money up. You stacking your bread. Because you know, okay, I'm gonna probably end up with a 10-year sentence. Maybe 8. In Kentucky, I'm gonna do 20% of my time, so I got a 10-year sentence. I'm gonna go for parole after 2 years. Parole board might let me out, or they might give me another 2 years or a year. So I'm gonna just plan on being gone, I don't know, 3 years. But you done been out on house arrest for 18 months. All of that time counts. And so when you go in, man, I don't know, one time, man, I was talking to my dude, man, and I ain't never asked him how much money he had, but he was just telling me the situation. He was like, man, he said, I left my girl. He said, no, I ain't leave it all to my girl, but I left her some money. He said, I got about 150 out there. Damn. He said, yeah. He said, I got about 150 out there, man, and it's, it's put up or whatever. So he's able to do whatever he wants to do. He's penitentiary rich. Not that that's a good thing by any stretch of the imagination. We just vibing. I'm just telling y'all, got about 150 out there, man. And basically what he would do, this was back before the cell phones were like now. Cell phones are everywhere in prison. Dudes would ride the phones all day long. So you live in one city and your girl lives in another city. That would be a long distance phone call. So you have her go get her a little cheap phone or something like that, or add another phone to a line with that same area code where you're at. So now your calls are $2 a call. You done already taught her the game. The whole time you've been out. It's just how you bag it up. You keep my phone. I got 2 phones. You keep these phones. When they call, this is typically what they get. And you cut it down. You may not, like, let's just say you dealing with 15 people. You cut it down. I've never done nothing like this. I don't suggest nobody do it. I'm just simply telling you that some do, and everybody don't do it. Look, man, you just deal with these 7, 8 people, 10 people. Don't bring on no new. If they want something, if somebody wants something for one of their partners, then they get it for their partners. You don't meet nobody. None of this. The only person you meet is when you start to run out. This is the plug. Call the plug up. This is the amount that you get. And so the operation never stops. You know what I mean? The operation never stops. So you can literally sit in prison. You're going to spend about $30 a day on the phone, $40 a day on the phone, but that ain't nothing. Because your girl tonight, especially if she's fooling with that dog food, that H, your girl that made $100 today. Profit. Put so much of it up. Do what you need to do. Get your hair, nails done, bills, kids, stuff, whatever you need to do. Like I said, put that $30, $40 on the phone. Send me, $200-$300 a week for commissary. And like I said, the operation never stops. So the whole time you in there, you do your 3 years, 4 years, or whatever. Like I said, when you first went in, you already did 18 months at home on house arrest. So technically, you only gone for 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever the case may be. At 150 that you left out there, she didn't add it to that. She's making this money every day, and it don't stop. The weekends is way more than, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays is way more than the other days. You got your 150 that ain't even had to be touched, and then she done put up a nice bag for you too when you get out. So much of that stuff happens, and you seeing these dudes live large in penitentiary. Ballers in prison. It's like with P. Diddy. I want to say it was Christmas time. I think he made sure like the whole yard ate. Had a nice meal for Christmas. But the thing about it, see, P. Diddy's in the Fed, so there's shot callers on the yard too. There's other shot callers. Nah, they don't have P. Diddy money, but you can't stun on us. Meaning you can't make it like you the only one on the yard that got money. Yeah, okay, we know you 700-800 million strong, but we got some money too. So they all arranged, they had a meeting or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, I can chip in this amount, everybody, they met at the round table and they fed the whole prison yard. Different things you can get away with in different places. But in them feds, they got shot callers. They got it's organized. Y'all look up Big Sandy. I think it's in Sandy Hook, Kentucky. I could be wrong, but it's called Big Sandy. It's a USP. Look at how many people got unalived within the last, I don't know, few weeks, few months. Big Sandy. Feds ain't no joke, man. Ain't no penitentiary a joke. In certain prisons, you have to, you can't just go splitting people's wigs or trying to unalive people without getting permission, without getting the green light, because you may be messing up a play, messing up somebody's, some big money, because it's big money that goes on in prison. Trust me, I know. It's big money that goes on in prison, man. And if a person got a nice play going on and then the yard gets locked down, or now you're going to have to answer to that, because you didn't have the green light to go and do that. So if you don't got the money, which you're not going to have it, guess what? They coming for you, man. So the best thing to do is, as I always say, stay out of prison, man. Real Kenz TV. Appreciate y'all chiming in with me. I know it was late, so thanks for hanging in there, rocking with me. My dogs, TB, McElvain, everybody else, you know what I mean, that joined me. April, she probably sleep right now. Antonio Walker, 10 Acres 07. Who else rock with me? Stephanie Haynes, appreciate that. Boozed and Confused, shout out to you just as well. Mayana Kadesh, what's up with you? Just everybody, man. Slimbo, everybody rock with me, living my best life. Everybody, man, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate it. And we're gonna do it again. Real Kenz TV.